Hi, this is Satiris Basakaropoulos, and today's video is about how to protect assets and why you should protect your assets. Okay. One of the things that people obviously put a big emphasis on, and of course, we all want a better life. We want, better income, and we want, to improve our, living standards, and drive the car we want and have the holidays we want, and stuff like that. It's only normal for people who want to strive for better. But one of the things that a lot of people don't do, or they forget to do along the way, is to actually protect their assets, to protect the assets that they have. And this is completely key, and all the most rich people in the world, most of the richest people in the world, one of the top things they do is asset protection. And that's basically why they're the richest people in the world, because they learn, or they find out, or they find people who know how to protect their assets. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what you have. It doesn't matter if you have 100 houses or 100 hotels, or 1,000 Rolls Royces. At the end of the day, if you don't know how to protect your assets, somebody can come along tomorrow and take it all out from under you. Very, very easily. It happens very easily, and it happens all the time to people. So you really need to, protect your assets. I'm not a qualified financial advisor or anything, so I can't really give you any actual, real advice in the subject. But what I can do is I can give you my own personal opinion on the subject. And my own personal opinion on the subject is that most really rich people, they own very little. They actually own very little, and they control a lot. They control a lot of stuff through corporations and through different entities, but you'll find that they don't own very much stuff. There's all different ways to do it, and like I said, I'm not a qualified financial person to give you a lot of advice on that, or so on and so forth. But from all the things I've studied and all the things I've read, and from an asset protection course that I paid quite a bit of money to do, the things I learned from it, what I would say to you firstly is that as an employee, you're going to get taxed the highest. So the first step is, I don't think you really want to be an employee. You're better to be self-employed, because at least then you can take your expenses off, and before you actually get taxed, you take your expenses off your income. Okay. The other thing is that if you're making a lot of money, you also might want to consider setting up a corporation or company, a limited company, and that different companies in different countries have different tax rates and so on and so forth, and different types of protection. For example, a Nevada corporation has quite a good protection against anybody wanting to sue you. If they want to take you to court, your company, I think they have to pay $100,000 just to take you to court. And then even if they take you to court, there's all sorts of ways that you can actually move those assets in between that time into another thing, and then they have to do it all over again. So that's a possible thing for someone if they want to really protect their assets from litigation and stuff, is to set up the likes of a Nevada corporation or something like that. Another thing is, there's certain countries where you can go and set up companies. You can set up limited companies as well, and I think Belize is one of them, and there's some other countries as well, if you maybe look them up. But you can basically have a company, and a lot of these countries don't actually disclose who owns the company and stuff like that. And there's 0% tax in some of the countries as well. So there are all sorts of interesting things you can find out when it comes to asset protection. If you have a property, you know, in the UK, if you have a property, if it's like rented, if you've lived in it for a certain period of time, if you lived in it and bought it as your own property, you can rent it out for up to nearly 3 years. And if you sell it, you can sell it without paying capital gains tax, as long as it hasn't been lived in for over 3 years. It hasn't been rented for over 3 years before you sold it. So, you know, if you bought a house, moved into it, and then after 6 months decided to buy another house and move to it, then the first residence would have been your main residence. So you can actually rent out your main residence for a year, 2 years, and then sell it within the 3 years and not have to pay capital gains tax on it because it was actually your main residence. So there's all sorts of different things there when it comes to asset protection. It's a very interesting thing to find out about, and you also need to be very careful about who you listen to, because a lot of standard advice that you would take and get in a lot of places is very, very bad advice. Very, very bad advice. You know, people going and trying to sell you ISAs and, you know, all sorts of different things, which aren't, you know, and pensions and things like that, which are really hopeless. So you need to be very, very careful, and you need to learn to protect your assets, because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If your assets aren't protected, somebody can come after them and get everything that you own. So by having your things in different entities and different places and so on and so forth, it makes it much, much harder for anyone to just come along and get everything that you have. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, just click the button just below to click the subscribe button. And if you've any comments, it'd be much appreciated, just put them below. And if you'd also press the like button, that would be great too. And feel free to, you know, share it as well on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook with the share button below. If you want to find out more about me, you can visit my website by clicking the link below this video if you're on YouTube. And if you're already on my website and you want to find out more about what I do, you can just click the button below the video to find out more about what I do. So that's it from me for this evening. I'll talk to you again soon.